Question 3. Production factors. Start this question on a new page. 3.1. A local chief granted a group of unemployed young people in a rural community 50 hectares of land to use to generate an income for themselves. They grew maize, which they could sell. In the first 2 years, they had a yield of 5 tons per hectare, which gradually increased to 6 and 7 tons per hectare over the next 2 years due to fertilizer use. In the 5th year, however, the yield declined despite increased fertilizer application. 3.1.1 identified 2 economic characteristics of the land in the case study. Land is subject to the law of diminishing returns, and land is durable. 3.1.2 explain the characteristic in question 3.1.1 that is associated with fertilizers and yield. More units of fertilizer increase the yield initially, but there will come a time when more and more units of fertilizer do not result in a proportional further increase in the yield. 3.1.3 state 2 functions of land in the case study. It enables food production and provides physical space for industry. 3.1.4 indicate 2 ways in which the group of young people could increase the production potential of the land, restoring land potential and consolidating small uneconomic land units. 3.2. The table below indicates a cash flow budget of broilers and eggs on a poultry farm. If we look at the table, we can see that it has 2 items, which are eggs, broilers, and a column for the sales of these items, products per week. On 1 week, the sales for eggs amounted to 8,000 rands, and also the sales for broilers amounted to 12,500 rands per week. We are also told that the monthly costs for these products amounted to 39,000 rands. 3.2.1 explain the way in which a cash flow budget assists a farmer in running a poultry farm business. It shows the flow of cash into and out of the farming operation to determine the profit and loss. 3.2.2 determine the total monthly income the farmer can budget for to run this business successfully. Show all calculations. We calculate the monthly income, so we assume that a month consists of 4 weeks. We need to agree that a month consists of 4 weeks. Okay, sweet stuff. The sale of eggs is 8,000 rands per week, and a month is made up of 4 weeks. To determine the monthly sales income, we will say 8,000 times 4. The monthly income from egg sales is 32,000 rands. The sale of broilers is 12,500 rands per week, and a month is made up of 4 weeks. To determine the monthly sales income, we multiply 12,500 by 4. The monthly income for the sale of broilers is 50,000 rands. To get the total monthly income for both items, we will say 32,000 rands plus 50,000 rands. The final answer is 82,000 rands in income generated for the month. 3.2.3 indicate whether or not the farmer should continue with this business. How do we decide whether to continue or discontinue business operations? Okay, sweet stuff. They told us that the monthly costs are 39,000, and we found that the monthly income generated from sales amounts to 82,000 rands. So basically, it means we are breaking even because we can cover our total monthly costs of 39,000 rands, leaving us with a lot of profit. This means our business is doing exceptionally well. Therefore, the farmer must continue with the business. 3.2.4 give a reason for the answer to question 3.2.3 based on the calculation. The monthly income is greater than the monthly expenditure. The business is making it a profit because the profit is 43,000 rands. 3.2.5 refer to the table and identify 2 forms of capital on the farm: floating working capital and movable capital.
3.3 the graph below indicates the skills of a farm worker and a farm manager. They have given us a graph. Sweet stuff. On the y-axis, we see a label written skill percentage. On the x-axis, we see the label written skills. This is a bar graph, and we have some key words in the top right corner that help us differentiate between the farm manager's skills and the farm worker's skills. We have 3 skills: planning, entrepreneurial, and technical. Okay, now let's interpret it. We see that the farm manager has 100% planning skill, while the farm worker has the lowest at 40%. Entrepreneurial skills: the manager also scored high at 100%, while the farm worker scored the lowest at 20%. Finally, technical skills: the manager scored the lowest at 40%, while the farm workers scored 100%. At this point, we can see that the farm manager excels in planning and entrepreneurship, but lacks the technical skills needed to handle daily tasks. The farm worker excels at daily operational tasks but lacks planning and entrepreneurial skills. Now, let's roll on. 3.3.1. Refer to the graph and identify 2 important skills a farm manager should have. 2 skills of a farm manager, based on the graph, are planning and entrepreneurial skills. 3.3.2. Name 1 important skill that will enable the farm worker to perform a task. 1 important skill needed by the farm worker is a technical skill. 3.3.3. Justify the answer to question 3.3.2. The worker needs to perform practical activities with their hands. 3.3.4. Name 2 management skills other than the skills in the graph that are very important for the farm manager. 2 management skills important to the farmer, in addition to the skills shown in the graph, are financial and problem-solving skills. 3.3.5. State 2 management principles that a farmer must apply in the farm business. The 2 management principles are planning and motivation. 3.4. Identify the type of leave represented by each of the scenarios below, as stipulated by legislation. 3.4.1. Employees are entitled to 21 consecutive days leave, or 1 day leave for every 17 days worked every year. 21 days of leave of absence that farm employees are entitled to is called annual leave. 3.4.2. Female farm workers are entitled to 4 months leave to raise their babies, depending on the agreement signed between the employee and the employer. 4 months leave of absence that female employees are entitled to is called maternity leave. 3.4.3. The employee has been absent due to the flu. A leave of absence due to the flu is sick leave.
3.5. A farm worker worked on 3 public holidays. The daily allowance on normal working days is 111.72. The allowance on public holidays is double that on normal working days. The employer paid this worker $400 in total for the 3 public holidays. 3.5.1. Calculate the amount this worker is entitled to for work performed on the 3 public holidays. We are told that the daily allowance on normal working days is 111.72 rands. Okay, and the allowance on public holidays is double the allowance for normal working days. Oh, sweet stuff. This means that the allowance on public holidays is 2 times 111.72, which gives us 223.44 rands per day. Let's go back to the scenario. The farm worker worked on 3 public holidays. Oh, which means the worker is entitled to 3 public holiday pay. So we will say 3 days times by 223.44 rands. It gives us $670.32. 3.5.2. State whether this was a fair labor practice for the farm worker. Basically, here they are referring to this statement. The employer paid this worker $400 in total for the 3 public holidays. Based on our final answer of $670.32 rands above, the worker was underpaid, because the worker is entitled to $670.32 rands for the work done on 3 public holidays, but their employer paid them lower wages, which is unfair and unacceptable. Therefore, the labor practice depicted above is an unfair labor practice. 3.5.3. Refer to the labor laws governing working on public holidays and justify the answer to question 3.5.2. The worker is underpaid because the worker received $270.32 less. Public holidays are double paid, according to the Public Holiday Act. The allowance on public holidays is double that on normal working days. Question 4. Basic agricultural genetics. Start this